I don't know about you, but I always had the most miserable dinner ladies. They'd always be standing there with a big ass frown on their faces like they're here on community service. And man, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen a dinner lady pick up some food, bare-handed, and give it to a student with zero hesitation. And getting your lunch was one thing, but once you received your dog food on a tray, you had to face the troubles of the school lunch tables. This is the perk of not being the new kid, because if you are, you gotta decide what category you fit into. You gotta make up your mind whether you're sitting with the loud popular kids who sacrifice their future for a few laughs in the classroom, the popular girls who slather themselves in makeup and come to school in dress codes, the quiet kids, the chess club, and finally, the I don't care, just let me eat my lunch table. Once you got that all figured out, you can finally eat. Charlie and Robert are trading their snacks, Paul's eating fast food and flexing on everyone, Ryan's gotta hide that note that his mama left him in his lunchbox, and Fred just ain't eating. Comment down below which categories you fit into. I'm interested to know. Do you guys remember school lunches? Famously known for their questionable quality and lack of student appeal. I remember lining up in the lunch queue back in the day, all ready to fill the empty void that is my stomach with some delicious, top quality canteen food. Everyone in the line is pushing and shoving, kids are sneaking drinks into their pockets. I could have sworn I saw Michael behind me a few minutes ago. Standing in the lunch queue pretty much just turns into a cycle of progressively getting pushed further and further back to the beginning of the line, to the point where eating when you get home instead isn't such a bad idea anymore. Eventually, with enough dedication and hunger, you're able to finally make your way to the front of the queue to receive your food, only to be absolutely flabbergasted with the abomination that these lunch ladies have the audacity to call food. And honestly, Buster can just take my lunch money at that point, because it is not worth spending a single dime on any of that so-called food. Now, I'm not going to spend the whole of this video ripping school lunches to pieces, because there was a time where school lunches actually slapped. I remember back in primary school, or elementary school for you Americans out there, we had the most plain average school lunches, nothing too special, nothing to get overly excited about either. They were definitely edible, and every now and then they just hit the spot, specifically on Fridays, pizza day. So come Monday, out on the playground, we organised a meeting to discuss the plan for Operation Eat More Pizza. I know. What if you guys, and hear me out, get all of your pizza and then just give them all to me? Chungus, you don't even eat school lunches? Exactly! The way that we would receive our school lunches back in primary school was a little different. Each morning during the register, our teacher would call out all of the meal options for school lunches that day, and each meal had its own designated rubber band colour. For example, mashed potatoes would be yellow, sausages would be green, and pizza and fries would be red. Our teacher, Miss Jensen, would announce each colour's meals and then proceed to do the register, to which all the students who ate school lunches were required to shout out the meal and rubber band that they would like. Come lunchtime, she would hand us our rubber bands from her secret box of coloured bands. Then we'd head out to the canteen to get our food. And this was the official plan. Since we had a friend group that was half eating school lunches and half eating packed lunches, we decided to take advantage of that. What we did was we'd get our bands and go eat our lunches as usual, except when we pick up our trays, one of us would pick up two secretly, before going and sitting at our table to eat our fries. Not the pizza, just the fries, nothing suspicious. Once we'd finished, one of us would take all the trays and go put them away before returning to our table with that one extra secret tray. Once the coast was clear, me, Theodore and Paul would head to Miss Jensen's classroom in an attempt to stack up on more bands. Chungus, Stephen and Keith would stay behind and keep our table and tray filled with so far 3 slices of pizza reserved. I'm hungry. Once we got to the classroom, we entered quietly and made sure the coast was clear before shutting the door and locking it behind us. We then had a mission to find Miss Jensen's secret box of rubber coloured bands. We split up and looked everywhere, in our desk, in the cupboards, but we just couldn't find it. We were starting to lose hope when all of a sudden, Theodore goes, "Guys, it's here!" We all run over to Theodore as he opens the box, the golden shine of the bands blinding us as he pulls the lid off. And there they were, a box filled to the brim with yellow, green, and most importantly, red bands. Such an emotional and satisfying moment, but that feeling was soon interrupted by a loud knock on the door. "Hello? Who's in there?" It was Miss Jensen. Silent panic filled the room as we quickly stuffed our pockets with as many red bands as we could and fled out the fire exit. Mission successful. We returned to the lunch hall, arms filled with red rubber bands as we gave them over to Stephen, Chungus, and Keith. They go up, get us 3 more slices of pizza, and we start piling that stuff all the way up to the top of the tray. We then wait about 10 more minutes until the dinner ladies swap their shift with the other 3 dinner ladies, which me, Theodore, and Paul take advantage of by going up and getting 3 more slices of pizza. We then get back to the table, pile up the tray some more before the others go and get their 3 new slices. Minutes later, we've got a tray filled with 12 whole slices of pizza all to ourselves. And you best believe we devoured that pizza. We did this for at least 2 to 3 weeks, before one morning in school, Miss Jensen asks all of us to stay behind during break. She sits us down and asks us, "Do you guys have any idea why my box of rubber bands had been left out on my desk without the lid on last Friday?" At first we played it off, all like, "Miss Jensen, I honestly have no idea. Have you tried asking the others?" However, she countered that response telling us that a teacher had spotted us at lunch with a tray filled with 12 plus slices of pizza. Apparently there was some sort of pizza shortage for the last students that were lining up at lunch. We didn't have actual detentions in primary school, but you best believe we were kept in for hella breaks and lunch times after that. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't just dip for 4 months, but I'm back now, some better videos coming, and yeah, subscribe, like the video, send it to your grandparents, and bye. Thank you.